The Companies Commission of Malaysia (SSM) is a statutory body formed as a result of a merger between the Registrar of Company (ROC) and the Registrar of Businesses (ROB) in Malaysia, which regulates companies and businesses. SSM came into operation on 16 April 2002. The main activity of SSM is to serve as an agency in corporate companies and register businesses, as well as to provide company business information to the public. As the leading authority for the improvement of corporate governance, SSM fulfills its function to ensure compliance with businesses registration and corporate legislation through comprehensive enforcement monitoring activity so as to sustain positive development in the corporate and also business sector of the nation. SSM is responsible for the administration and enforcement of the following legislation. Firstly, is the Companies Commission of Malaysia Act 2001. Second is the Companies Act 2016. Thirdly is Interest Scheme Act 2016. Last but not least is Registration of Businesses Act, which is in 1956.
Assalamualaikum and good evening. I am Nur Hazirah and I will be presenting on the topic which is Administrative History of SSM. The Register of Companies (ROC) and the Register of Businesses (ROB) in Malaysia merged to form the Companies Commission of Malaysia, which is SSM. It is a government body that regulates companies and businesses. On April 16, 2002, SSM began to work. SSM main job is to be an agency that helps people start companies and register businesses. In addition, as the most critical organization for improving corporate governance, SSM's job is to ensure that business registration and corporate laws are followed. It does this through a wide range of enforcement and monitoring activities, so positive changes in the corporate and businesses sectors of the nation can continue. And the following pieces of legislation are the responsibility of SSM, and the organization is responsible for its administrations and enforcement.
Alright, to start, the analysis of classifications and filing system in SSM. Who is responsible in SSM for the filing system? So the answer is, it's known as a registrations of business services, which is 3 more organizational branches under this department. For the first is the registration services, secondly ICT sections, and last but not least the administrative management section. So they are working together in terms of handling the filing system, and also each kind of activities inside SSM to make sure that they will operate efficiently and effectively. So overall, this department are as the main backbone inside SSM. Next, we go to the coding system. What is the coding system that are used by SSM are the Malaysian Standard Industrial Classification MSIC. So we discuss on this kind of thing. So what is this coding system? Actually, it's used as the simple identifications of major and minor groups to identify the locations of records. So in SSM, they use ROB, which is registrations of business, ROC, register of companies, and also they use also the ROC idaman. Next, we go to the movement of file, which is this content of how the file and the document are working to move where the user want to use this file. Actually, in SSM, the document will often send back and forth between officers for business. Meaning that when you want to access this document, you need to meet up with the staff or the records management. Next, we move to the file classified in organizations. The SSM using the MBRS, or known as the Malaysian Business Reporting System. In terms, they want to make sure the systems are very secure and also become systematically. So some of the example are business reporting language, financial statement, and also like the company limited guarantee. All right, we move to the types of equipment, meaning here that they use three types of equipments. For the physical, we have a SSM have file cabinet. They also have like filing shelf, register, and a lot of type of file that they use. So another type of equipments are digital, which is the AWS system. AWS system is like an online system that can access by the staff to store their documents and also to make sure everything are kept inside very secure. So as for that, for the users, especially like the researchers, they will get the documents from the server, such as inside the website. Everything can be accessed on the Google, Amazon, Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge.
Next part is how to differentiate the housekeeping and the functional files. First, the difference between these two files is how to take care of things. And for housekeeping, in agency, there is a standard file to take care of the building, equipment, supplies, money, people, and general internal administrations. And as for functional files, the distinction between policy and operation files may only sometimes be clear when a policy is being developed, and records are made to help an organization to do its main tasks. And as for administration, buildings and assets, equipment and supplies, finances, and human resources are general administrative tasks that all organizations have to deal with. And as for data organization refers to the manual provided by the National Archive of Malaysia or any other references. Companies Commission of Malaysia (SSM) refers to the manual provided by the National Archive of Malaysia, since it is the responsibility of an agency that acts as a repository of data, information, and government records to collect, preserve, and prepare public records in various types and forms to serve as references for researchers and the general public.
Arrangement of file, identify and retrieval. Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia generally stores file by series, sub-series, and file number. It is organized in accordance with the selected classification and coding scheme, which is a hierarchical classification system. The identification codes on the spines of some types of files can be visible when the files are stacked vertically. Other systems employ color coding to differentiate between series and even individual files. Color-coded systems are not suggested if the availability of a specific color covers is not available. A favored method of file storing, for example, is on their spines. The file code or reference number is located along the upper left-hand corner of the file covered when using this method. And for conclusion, Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia has applied a systematic filing system using hierarchical method according to National Archive of Malaysia. The filing system within Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia also effective as it helps the organisation to run the administrative and operational activities effectively, especially in consuming time to retrieve the file. Second, classification expresses a specific sort of record content which is frequently insufficient. In a digital world, record relations can be dynamic and evolve over time. For an organization like Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia, a filing system is the central record-keeping system. It aids in the organization, systematic efficiency and transparency of SSM records and files. It also makes it easier for all people who work under SSM to access the information. Moreover, the classification of this file may make it easier to collect information in order to achieve results and improve the efficiency of service delivery.
As you can see here, this is the example of SSM functional files. Pengurusan pentadbiran is as it function, perhubungan awam as activity, announcement SSM is as the sub-activity, and the transaction is Bora Maklumat Penghantar and User Manual. This file consists of the report, the public relation, and activity that is related to publication, and also the customer feedback.
As you can see on the slide, this is the sample of file system by SSM. And this is the sample of functional file. First, sumber manusia as function. And the second, perhubungan awam as activity. Announcement SSM as sub-activity. And guidelines to activate online space ID during movement control periods and user manual as transaction. This file consists of human resource, public relation, and guidelines how to activate online SPs.
As you can see here, this is some example of the functional files, which is the functions as pengumuman 600 and the activity, the announcements SSM, sub-activity under the Bora Maklumat Penghantar, and we have the 3 transactions, which is regarding to the guidelines to activate online is-based ID during movement control period. And secondly, guideline for tracking of sections. And last but not least, my COID 2016 user manual.
Okay, so example of files by SSM or function files, which is pengurusan hal ehwal pentadbiran is the function, penggubalan pindalan pergubalan is the activity, whistleblower is the sub-activity, and the transaction is affect internal whistleblower policy, internal whistleblower form, internal whistleblower policy, and policy pemberi maklumat dalaman 2013 pindaan to 2020. It is a voluntary act by an employee public insofar as an service provided to report a wrongdoing within the organisation that goes against the rules of the organisation of any legislated law in Malaysia.
Next is housekeeping files. The function is pengurusan pentadbiran, the activity is perhubungan awam, the sub-activity is manual, and the transaction of this file is registration, annual declaration, charge of particular, voluntary winding up. This file consists of relation between the outsider, meeting, administrative renewal, and also how to contact the organisation.
And for housekeeping files, which is pengurusan perniagaan is the function, pendaftaran perniagaan is the activity, and the register business company guideline, which is the sub-activity, and the transaction is guidelines registration of charge and receivership, garis panduan pendaftaran nama perniagaan, and guideline 556 and 558, which is these files consists about business registration and guideline of the registration.
Alright, this is another example of housekeeping files, which is the functions is pengurusan pendaftaran pengguna, the activity panduan mendaftar akaun pengguna is based, the sub-activity we have tata cara mendaftar akaun pengguna, transactions it will be like panduan mendaftar akaun pengguna is based and the berjalan akaun pengguna.
Besides that, there is a sample for housekeeping file. First, pengurusan pentadbiran as function, perhubungan awam as activity, manual as sub-activity, and the others are post-registration, name reservation appeal, foreign winding up by port, and user registration for existing and new user as transaction. This file consists of administrative, management, and public relation and user registration.
And for conclusion, Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia has applied a systematic filing system using high rating method using according to National Archive of Malaysia. The filing system within Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia also effective as it helps the organisation to run the administrative and operational activities effectively, especially in consuming time to retrieve the file. Second, classification expresses a specific sort of record content which is frequently insufficient. In a digital world, record relations can be dynamic and evolve over time. For an organisation like Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia, a filing system is the central record-keeping system. It aids in the organisation, systematic efficiency and transparency of SSM records and files. It also makes it easier for all people who work under SSM to access the information. Moreover, the classification of this file may make it easier to collect information in order to achieve results and improve the efficiency of a service delivery.